Miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you. Call me all night. It's a lost cause it's all beat. So call me all night. This is a lost cause it's all beat. Call me all night. It's a lost cause it's all beat. So call me all night. This is a lost cause it's all beat. Miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you, miss you, miss you, miss you, I miss you. Call me all night. It's a lost cause.
Alrighty, welcome to the stream, everyone. We got a pretty light day for news. It's election day. Go vote. And I'm a degenerate and I want to follow closely, so we're gonna have a quick stream. We have a quick deep dive on AR glasses. They seem to be kind of coming back a bit, and then we have a few smaller stories about Netflix being potentially investigated for fraud, and some other small startup news, and maybe we'll get into a chip maker drama with China and the US. All right, let's look at this. So let's see that. Excuse me. This is what first prompted the AR. This is the latest news that prompted it. Let me I just reorganized my Stream Deck. Where did I put the button? Oh, whoops. I thought I was going to start with that one, but I did not. All right. Apple is researching smart glasses with an internal study report claims. Now, some context to this just before we even read the article. Who else is making smart glasses, you ask? Why Meta and Snap are spending billions on AR glasses. Now, the unfortunate part about being the largest company on earth is that you essentially compete with every other tech company, even if you don't necessarily, have products competing with them. Meta and Snap, both social media companies, but they're ad companies. What does Apple want? They want juicy ad revenue, just like everyone else. And they've been slowly kind of developing that with the not allowing cross-app tracking, which we covered on stream not too long ago. Meta could have lost up to $10 billion from that. They said themselves. Snap suffered the same exact thing, because what do they have? How do they make money? Advertising. And so Apple, coming off their kind of failure of the Apple Vision Pro, which is more of an AR headset versus glasses, they those didn't sell as well as they thought, and they have since been cutting production of those, which I'm sure we'll find. Let me just find it. Come on, Apple Insider, don't let me down. Yes, no, yeah, yes. So this actually is it. So Apple Vision Pro, I was gonna actually cover this yesterday, but I got way too carried away with the Descartes AI stuff. But Apple Vision Pro, the AR headset that Apple was touting, cost however much money, like thousands of dollars for their headset. Generally this the strategy that companies kind of take, in the pattern is it's been noticeable as it'll release a product that's very expensive just to get early adopters, software development kits, get things excited about it. Maybe the normal consumer can't necessarily afford it yet. Then they'll kind of slowly start working their way down in price as they iterate on it, make better innovations, make it cheaper for to release into consumers' hands, cheaper for them to buy them. More developers are able to get it, etc. And you kind of work your way down to a price point that is able to be mass produced and sold, to mass amounts of people, to kind of get adoption. This is like what Tesla did with their Roadster. They released a car that was very expensive at first, mainly for enthusiasts. Once that kind of proof of concept was good, they iterated on it, made a different model that was able to be mass produced at much lower costs, and they could actually start making larger profits to use that to make other cars, etc. Valve with their Steam Deck, their first iteration was expensive, and they released another one that lowered prices, that able to give better technology. Oh shit, I just knocked something over. Able to give better technology. Anyways, this is just this is a strategy. So Apple, they're kind of on their heels a bit with this Apple Vision Pro. Now they need to pivot, and honestly, let's think about this let's think about the tech that they developed behind the Apple Vision Pro, and how reusable it could be in something like this. Now there's competition right now, and Apple could be, if assuming that they are still going through with this, could be behind a bit with like the Meta and Snap. Remember that other company, Magic Leap, or Magic Leap? Are they still making stuff? Because these guys are also in the game. But okay, let's step back that actually, because this is more like this is more like an AR headset versus glasses. So this more competes, I feel like, with Apple Vision Pro versus it does. I don't know. This is it's called an AR device. These ones seem legit. Like these ones, even though like I don't know what happened to them. These they look actually like very stylish and good, and like it just looks a bit cleaner. Oh, here we go. Wonder how much they cost. Wow, they're actually okay. Yeah, maybe I gotta do another pass on Magic Leap. I literally went to them expecting them to be shut down. Like I just kind of forgot about them. Anyways, Magic Leap. We have HTC. It's not the Vive. Yeah, this one. But this was, yeah, I remember the 2020. This is 2023 of last year. This is almost, Jesus, 2 years old now. But it's, you know, it's similar. It's also an AR mix. Can I Viveverse? Viveverse? This is the Vive Focus, probably. No. Bro, this looks like some head crab looking shit, bro. Yeah, this. Okay, it is this. Yeah, so then there's this, but this is also definitely a headset. This is not glasses. It's very cheap. Why is it so cheap, actually? This thing I love the look. Like I just love the science fiction-y, like cyberpunk-y like look of all these headsets. Same, like I think that's like what I just like. That's what I'm gonna base my judgment off of, just how much I think it looks like makes it look more like a cyberpunk dystopia. Yeah, I don't know. I think these take the reign though. These ones look the coolest. Like, I don't know. These look so stylish. Like, bro, like this looks sick. Yeah, these just look so cool. Anyways, so yeah, back to the article, and we'll actually read it. Yeah, they do look ridiculous. I agree. I agree. It's a both of combination. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like so cyberpunky Neuromancer. Okay. Back to this. Yeah, so I was starting to say that, yeah, so I wonder, you know, if this is delayed and not actually canceled, which right now I think it's looking like it's just going to be canceled. Delayed beyond 2027 for a while now. This means Apple only new head-mounted display device in 2025 will be Vision Pro with an upgraded M5 processor. I think what really drove Apple to delay the cheaper Vision Pro is that simply reducing the price wouldn't help create successful use cases. Yeah, it's similar to the HomePod situation. Even after launching the cheapest HomePod Mini, Apple's smart speakers failed to become mainstream products. Yeah, and I mean that's I mean a bigger issue where like it's essentially a glorified, you know, movie watching headset. Like there's just not much to do on there. And realistically, the Apple like Vision Pro isn't really AR. It's like just, you know, it's essentially flat screens and stuff in a 3D environment. It's not really interacting much with the environment around it. Like it's, I don't know, it seems like more gimmicky novelty versus solving a problem. But, you know, AR glasses, you know, you could wear out into the world. You can, you know, they're a bit more portable. There's a bit other use cases. And, you know, we know that this has been, AR glasses have been like, you know, a hot thing with big tech companies, with, you know, the Apple or Google Glass, I mean, that's a little bit different, but you know, it's essentially the same, you know, same concept. You know, it's almost solve the same problems. Google Glass is a little dumber. It didn't really have much, but you know, the idea is there, and I just think it's funny that like we're still kind of on this, like, I don't know, they really want these big tech, they just want to make these. I don't, you know, I don't know, like, you know, and I think, okay, let's think about this as like a business, like a big tech evil CEO. I have my hands like this, by the way. What do they want? They want your data. What data don't they have? You know, they have essentially everything that you could think of in terms of your data. What data don't they have? They don't have what you could see. You know, they could listen to you. They could see what, you know, you're browsing. They could see your screen, but, you know, they can't see when I go to the bathroom. They can't see, you know, when I'm, you know, having a good time with, you know, when your partner, while you're going out. They can't see that stuff. When you're cooking, they can't see you. You know, they have doorbells and they have some smart products, but you know, that's supposed to be nice and secure, you know. And so they, you know, so, you know, think Facebook, Meta, like, you know, with their, you know, glasses, like, you know, they're a data driven company because they sell advertising. You know, like they want to be, you know, Altered Carbon, you know, you look around and like there's ads everywhere, and then you got to install your fucking tracker to block them. You know, it's like that's what they want. You know, that's what they wanted with the metaverse. They wanted to create their own version of the world so they could kind of control that. I mean, now they just want to see out in the world. They want different data to collect so they could sell advertising. I mean, you know, Zuck may have some grand plan. Like, I mean, he, like, to be fair, like, he is really pushing the VR space and now kind of leading the AR space. And while I do, you know, think he might be interested in the technology and kind of using his resources in a way to progress that, realistically, if you can't justify a business use for it, like, there's no way he would, you know, be allowed to spend billions of dollars developing things like this. Same with essentially every company developing this, unless they're a nonprofit, you know, like selling it just the headset, like you're gonna take so long to recoup back the costs, especially something like Magic Leap. Like I mean, how much money have they, you know, like raised? Like, bro, it's gonna take them decades to, you know, raise back, you know, make back, you know, the hundreds of millions of dollars that they've spent so far on, you know, developing R&D. You know, if they go public, they still have to make money and they have to consistently grow, you know, which, you know, is usually how the VCs make their money back. And so, I mean, I don't know. It's like the dilemma, like there's a dilemma, like, you know, okay, yeah, sure. They could create a marketplace like App Store and make recurring revenue on that. But like, you know, you then have to be the de facto smart glasses person to essentially, you know, make that come to life, actually make money from that. And when you're competing against Meta and, you know, big tech the largest companies in the world, like it's a losing battle unless you plan to get acquired, which is also another out. That's an exit. That's technically an exit. And realistically, that's probably how that thing, like a company like this is going to make back their money or not die and at least have some like form of legacy of the product and vision. And honestly, I could see Magic Leap being acquired by Apple if this does come to fruition. But I don't know, actually, you know, because why would they not make an acquisition for the Apple Vision Pro? Unless they learn their lesson, and, you know, maybe acquiring a company seems less risky in my opinion than doing the R&D and developing all the things yourself, especially when it's like extremely custom, like Apple Vision Pro. And considering the Apple Vision Pro like didn't really do as well as they thought, you know, taking another risk on some VR or AR venture might be not the best look for like two shareholders from Apple to the board from, you know, Tim Cook or Apple. So Yeah, anyways, that's my thought on AR. Let's actually read the article. Apple's researching smart glasses with an internal study, report claims. Apple is reportedly using an internal study to gauge interest in smart glasses as the company continues to develop its own Apple Glass, an eventual successor to the Apple Vision Pro. All right. So, I mean, this makes it seem like, yeah, that they're going to share technology that that they developed with the Apple Vision Pro in the Apple Glass, but yeah, we'll see. The aforementioned study was supposedly launched at the end of October and is known under the project codename Atlas. Not to be confused with the scrapped iPhone 16 hardware project bearing the same code name. Okay, guys, we gotta get who's in charge of the code name department? With its internal study, Apple seeks to gather employee feedback on smart glasses currently on the market, which we kind of just went a bit of a overview of XR, VR, and glasses, but we'll look at Meta and Snap glasses here in a sec, which are kind of the two leading ones realistically. The study is reportedly being conducted by the company's product system quality team, which is part of Apple's hardware engineering division. There are also plans for additional focus groups in the near future. According to the Bloomberg report, the company sent out an internal email asking select employees at its Cupertino headquarters to partake. Oh my gosh, I am. Okay. Rejuvenated. According to the Bloomberg report, the company sent out an internal email asking select employees at its Cupertino headquarters to participate in the study. Testing and developing products that all can come to love. Testing and developing products that all can come to love is very important to what we do at Apple, the email says. This is why we are looking for participants to join us in an upcoming user study with current market smart glasses. Previous rumors have indicated that Apple wants to launch its own smart glasses in 2027, while an Apple patent application surrounding a potential hinge mechanism has also appeared among years of evidence of working on such project. Dang. Other companies have already expressed interest in smart glasses, Meta unveiling its Orion prototype in September 2024. Also Snapchat. It makes sense that Apple would take into account employee feedback and analyze its potential market competitors. People with knowledge of the Apple Vision Pro's development cycle told Apple Insider that the company conducted an analysis of virtual reality headsets on the market before launching the device, so a similar strategy for smart glasses seems likely. In 2025, the Apple Vision Pro could be updated with an entirely new M5 chip, while a low-cost variant of the device has allegedly been delayed until 2027. Yeah. Which, I mean, that could line up with this, this could be the cheaper alternative. Doubt, but yeah. Apple CEO Tim Cook has previously described the current Apple Vision Pro as an early adopter product, which indicates that the company likely has plans for future augmented reality headsets, possibly even smart glasses. Look at the comments. Resurrect the Apple car as the Apple vehicle platform, sell it as a package to the Italians. What the fuck? All right, Mike Taku. Can you please tell me what is Apple aiming to achieve with this new internal study? So interesting. Now, with Meta successfully showing a good, pretty reasonably working prototype, I wonder, and now Apple, looking to see what they could do in the smart glasses market, maybe. I wonder if other big tech companies are going to catch on. I wonder, mainly Google, Microsoft, Amazon. Maybe not Amazon, because they don't really make hardware. Although Alexa, they could totally make some Alexa Kindle shit. Google will start it and then they'll end up canceling it before it ever comes to fruition. I mean, they have Google Glass. That would be the evolution of what they would actually make. Microsoft has HoloLens, and like that's actually legit, and I could see them making a product for that. So I mean, all big tech companies have some sort of play in wearable like glasses technology. So yeah, this could be interesting. Let's look at so right now the big players, Meta and Snap, and maybe Magic Leap, maybe HTC, if you want to count these, but realistically these are more headsets versus like glasses. And so I think that these are more Apple Vision Pro, Valve's headset, which I can't think of, like Oculus. Like these are more like AR VR headsets versus glasses. So yeah. So let's read this, and then we'll take a look at both of these glasses real quick. So, why Meta and Snap are spending billions on AR glasses. Now, Meta's just been spending billions on VR in general, so yeah, they've been ahead of the game. Oh, look at, they mentioned all the people we were talking about. After a decade of development and billions of dollars, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg in September pulled back the curtain on one of the company's most ambitious projects, an augmented reality prototype called Orion. A week earlier, Snap CEO Evan Spiegel took to the stage at its annual Snap Partner Summit to introduce its AR-capable fifth-generation spectacles. Both companies see massive potential for the technology, with a grand vision for AR glasses to usurp smartphones as the next generation of computing. And that's a very good point. That's an interesting vision, because yeah, they are essentially some sort of smartphone, like, you know, like that is what they would actually replace, you know. That's interesting. Now, there's a ways to go for that to be like come to fruition, and hopefully privacy legislation to pass before it becomes mainstream. But yeah, that's interesting. And I feel like Google Glass was sold more as a augmentation, like an extension to this phone versus a replacement, you know, like it showed like notifications and like stuff like that. This is a major leap forward for technology, Chris Cox, Meta's chief product officer, told CNBC Julia Boorstin in an exclusive interview. It's a big step forward for a sort of goal to help define the next generation of computing. The dream of augmented and mixed reality is something tech giants have been pursuing for years. Earlier this year, Apple started selling its Apple Vision Pro reality headset for $3,500. Over a decade ago, Google was the first to market in 2013 with Google Glass, an early attempt at an AR device. But the product faced challenges and was ultimately canceled. Microsoft has also invested in AR technology for well over a decade, launching its HoloLens headset for enterprise in 2016. Failing to gain traction, the HoloLens was discontinued in October. I didn't realize that it was straight up discontinued, because I thought there was legitimate use for like defense use cases, because that's where actually I thought Microsoft was putting most of its chips in, was to sell it to governments for like like smart soldier shit or something, but maybe not. But regardless, like I still could see them reviving something like this, because I mean, the thing at Microsoft, they've kind of almost been on the verge of always getting some piece of hardware mainstream, but it never becoming the case. Like the Windows Phone, the Zune, the even laptops, like they're kind of always a bit behind in the hardware space. Like they're always just barely late, or the product's just subpar to the current ones on the market or whatever. Like they just never have gotten like a big hardware project to take off, besides maybe the laptops. The Surface laptops are good, and I think that's kind of just really been it. But you know, they've been kind of in Apple's shadow in that sense, and now that they actually are kind of competing to be world's largest corp based on market cap, you know, this could be a chance for them, if they revive something like this, to actually compete, because they're way ahead of the game compared to some of the other players, like mainly Apple. We're in our adolescence, said Tuong Nguyen, partner, director, analyst We see a lot of potential, but we haven't quite reached that potential yet. While Snap and Meta have debuted AR prototypes, they're still years away from selling those devices to consumers. The technology is too costly to mass produce. For now, Meta plans to use Orion as a developer device for its employees. And this is actually cool because Meta is realizing that the device they have, unlike what Apple's trying to do, they could sell it for, you know, $3,500 like Apple's doing with Apple Vision Pro, but instead they're actually just gonna not sell it and just use this to keep iterating and use it internally for testing so that they could they can make different products off of it or continue to iterate on it and improve it until they actually get something that's reasonably priced and is actually like up to the standards of selling. So yeah, it seems like that's kind of what they're doing. MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, made a great video actually reviewing and using the Meta glasses and the Snap ones. In the internal like a Facebook employee kind of said that, or he said that that's what they shared with them. So that's kind of cool. We're going to use it. We're going to use it mostly internally to build out the software we need to, Zuck said at the Meta Connect conference in September. We're also going to work with a handful of partners externally to make sure we get a diversity of content. Snap similarly plans to invest in building out its ecosystem, renting its AR glasses to developers who commit to paying $99 a month for a year for the spectacles. And that's cool. That's like legit, but like, you know, realistically, Snapchat being much smaller company than Facebook, Apple, Google, Microsoft, they kind of need to be able to get it in developers' hands without charging a shit ton of money. So that's kind of cool. But it's also rent. Like they're renting it, so like what, you just pay $99, you don't actually own it? Like that, I don't know. We've really tried to lower the barrier to folks getting started with this new technology, Spiegel told Borsten, Spiegel being the Snapchat CEO. We're at a unique moment where both consumers and developers are really ready for something new. Yeah. They need to lower the barrier to entry. But I mean, like no offense to Snapchat, but like what ecosystem am I going to invest in? Apple, Meta, Google, Microsoft, or Snapchat? It's like, I'm sorry, Snapchat, but but Snapchat's been on the spectacles for a while. Let's look at Snapchat, and then we'll look at Meta's VR, and we'll kind of compare. We'll see. So let's go to it, spectacles.com. And Snapchat has actually been developing this for a long time. You know, in this Verge article here, they say that it's technically 8 years old. And like, remember these original ones, which as soon as you see them, you'll remember these ones. Yeah. These were 2016. That's crazy. That's 8 years ago. Yeah, so Snapchat has been actually on this for a while. And like this isn't much, but you know, it's a start. Yeah, it's a start. And they've iterated on it, and they actually made it like significantly better. I mean, 8 years is a long time. But this is way cheaper than $3,500 for Apple's Vision Pro. Now, Apple Vision Pro is probably more powerful, is a bit more, but like this is wearable. You could wear it, you know, outside, take it with you, and that's a bit different. So let's actually look on their website. Not another. Wait. So spectacles, AR glasses powered by Snap OS. Okay. Designed to get more people closer to the things they love together. And I am so bullish. I want AR glasses to come to fruition so bad. So as long as we have good data and privacy protection, because it's so cool. It's literally the future that we kind of like, you know, saw as a kid or whatever. And like in the movies, like AR is the cool, it's like the cool shit, you know, that's the cool technology that we actually want. That's like actually futuristic. I could be wearing spectacles right now, and instead of having, you know, 3 monitors, I just need my one, and then I could have all my stream notes, you know, on here, you know, shit like that. Yeah, I know, data and private section. Huh? Like, yeah, I mean, that's why I say it, because like I know it's going to be a nightmare. It's already, facial recognition stuff is already, you know, like the government has my face now, you know, flying at TSA, like they're collecting facial recognition stuff, you know, like it's getting to the point now where it's like, okay, we actually need real federal data privacy stuff, you know, protection, not just rely on the state. Shout out California CCPA. But yeah, not another way to see the world, just your eyes, your spectacles with see-through lenses that always keep you connected to the people and things around you. Like, dude, imagine playing a D&D session and everyone just wearing VR glasses or AR glasses like this, like, and you could look down and like see the gameplay area and everything. Like, that's so cool. Privacy controls in the future, I don't know. I think the barrier to entry as a developer would be like if you're a startup just coming in making this, like you need to raise so much money to be able to make this, and the fact that there's companies that already have things that like are exactly like this, like it's gonna be like the first mover advantage is going to be significant here. And I think, you know, in hardware it's probably like that in general. Yeah, out of necessity, I agree, but it'll be too late by then, I guess, you know, like better late than never. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, after it's market for a while, agreed. Yeah, and yeah, I think that there'll be some open source alternative kind of thing. Proton, yeah, they would be good hardware developers, hopefully. Yeah, compete with Google, exactly. So yeah, and maybe Snap is that alternative. Like, I mean, they're an advertising business, but like, I don't know, maybe, you know, they're the smaller player and they have to differentiate somehow. So I mean, like, they could be a good like starter, but oh, it's the lens in Snapchat. You could see yourself with them. That's good marketing. That's good marketing, you know. Also, this looks so good. Like, it actually looks real. It's like it's on them. All right, let's try and dive in a bit. Hey, oh, what's this? Yes, your glasses have AI. Bro, the Snap AI is like, I always accidentally click them because I swear they loaded in like later. So when you go to click like the latest Snapchat, it just like jumps down and then you accidentally click it. You're like, buff, wait, what? Browse web results, generate 3D assets, and watch spatially arranged video. Like, see, this is like, there's not actually like much of a use case really. So it's like, do cool stuff with it. Yeah. It's like, okay. A suite of cameras and sensors power multimodal AI contextual understanding in 6 EOF. This is like a depth of field, maybe tracking. Yeah. Oh, they use Snapdragon. That's interesting. A dual system on a chip architecture and vapor chambers to enable a standalone glasses from form factor. Yeah, and we'll get into Meta's, but Meta's actually, I think, had heating problems, and they actually designed the glasses around, like, you know, cooling and heating. They're very, yeah, stylish. I don't know. I feel like they could be bold in the design in early models, but as soon as you get to like mass market, like you got to tone it down a bit, make it a little bit more normal looking. Okay, spectator mode. Share your experiences for friends to see from their own perspective. That's kind of like trippy. Like, imagine wearing glasses and then seeing someone else's perspective, like from your eyes, like that's trippy. But I think this is via streaming on the phone, which is less cool. Mirror your favorite apps directly into your spectacles. That's interesting. Yeah, like mirror your phone. Controller, use your phone as a 6 depth. Is that depth of field controller for Snap OS? See, now they're not sound. This seems more like your phone is, it's augmenting, you know, it's an extension to your phone and not necessarily replacing them, like kind of Meta's goal. So that's interesting. 46-degree diagonal field of view. Okay, let's keep this in mind because the metas, in Marquez's review, he said that like it's like the field of view is not as big as you think, and like you could actually see it being cut off when you're like looking. And these kind of just seem like they have wider, but maybe not. Just the design makes them seem wider. Yeah, compute. Okay, standalone untethered glasses design, two times Snapdragon processors with distributed computing. I want to know what, I'm sure we could find it, but I wonder what their processors are actually using. Snapdragon's a mobile processor, you know, like it's mainly like a lot of Android phones use Snapdragon. Just yeah, so it's interesting, but that's essentially what you'd have to use in something like this. 45-minute battery life, bro. Wi-Fi 6. That was GPS, Bluetooth. Okay. So yeah, let's look at build. Wait, let's look at this, then we'll look at metas. It's interesting because you essentially use just game engines usually to develop for these. Like this looks like Unity or something. Lens Studio. Let's see. Gen AI Suite. Ugh. Wow, maybe they developed their own software, which is crazy. It's like such a big investment. And like, no way they're making money from this. All right, dang. Okay, then let's look at metas. Introducing Orion, our first truly augmented reality glasses. Today we unveiled Orion. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, I wish they just showed a good picture of it. Yeah, here they are. These look more normal. I mean, they definitely thick, but you know, like they look like more normal glasses, like something mass market, which I think I mean, they've been partnering with Ray-Ban to kind of make them. Yeah, here we go. Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Which these are actually a legit product and like actually heard good things about it. And the quality I've seen recorded on these is actually like legit. Like it's pretty good. I wonder how much they cost. Let's just look at the cost real quick. Wow, $330. That's like pretty like reasonable. $200 for non-sunglass ones. Or $300, sorry. That's legit. But, you know, realistically, the only use case is just recording video. Like, I mean, like who's buying these? They'd be like, oh, I can't wait to use Meta AI on my Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. Like, sorry. But this is cool. You know, this is my theory to where they don't, you know, now they're just getting this data outside of here. You know, they know what you see, what, you know, more like, I don't know, just a little icky, like knowing that like they're just, you know, gobbling up all that. You get prescription lenses, privacy and safety. I heard that, see, like this white light right here, whenever it's recording, this is on, and if you actually try and cover it, it stops recording. This little light here is, yeah, if the LED is covered, you'll be notified to clear it. Use the Meta View app to update privacy settings, manage your information. Choose whether you to share additional data with Meta to improve the app and glasses. And see, these are more what the Snap Spectacles were. Like, these are essentially a extension to your phone, and it requires your phone, and like that's about it. And then you could, you know, record whatever. But it's essentially a phone extension, which is what the original Spectacles, these kind of were too. Now these are more AR, but these also seem like it requires your phone. Unlike what Orion is kind of trying to do, where it's gonna try and replace the phone. Yeah, these. We've been hard at work for years to take the incredible spatial experiences afforded by VR and MR. I don't know what MR is. And miniaturize the technology necessary to deliver those experiences in a pair of lightweight, stylish glasses. Nailing the form factor, delivering holographic displays, developing compelling AR experiences, creating new human-computer interaction paradigms, and doing it all in one cohesive product is one of the most difficult challenges our industry has ever faced. It was so challenging that we thought we had less than a 10% chance of pulling it off successfully until now. What the heck? Orion is a feat of miniaturization. The components are packed down to a fraction of a millimeter. Dozens of innovations are required to get the design down to a contemporary form that you'd be comfortable wearing every day. Orion has the largest field of view in the smallest AR glasses form to date. That field of view unlocks truly immersive use cases for Orion, from multitasking windows and big screen entertainment to life-size holograms of people, all digital content that can be seamlessly blended to view your physical world. What makes Orion unique is that it's unmistakably a pair of glasses in both look and feel. Complete with transparent lenses, unlike MR headsets or other AR glasses today, you can still see other people's eyes and expressions, so you can be present and share the experience with the people around you. Yeah, and this is the cool stuff. Like, imagine like it, like, you know, labels things in 3D space. It's like aware, it keeps them, you know, it read the ingredients here, and then it made a recipe based off of the ingredients here, you know, like a smoothie. Like, that's cool. Of course, as with any piece of hardware, Orion is only as good as the things you can do with it, and while it's still early days, the experiences afforded by Orion are exciting glimpse of the what's to come. We've got our smart assistant, Meta AI, running on Orion. It understands what you're looking at in the physical world and can help you with useful visualizations, so you can open up your refrigerator and ask for a recipe based on what's inside, or video call a friend while adjusting a digital family calendar as you wash the dishes. They're being very optimistic in people's skill to multitask. Yeah, but I understand what, like, the vision they're kind of getting at. You can take hands-free video calls to catch up with friends and family in real time, and you can stay connected on WhatsApp, of course, and Messenger to view and send messages. No need to pull out your phone, unlock it, find the right app, and let your friend know you're running late for dinner. You can do it all through your glasses. Our team continues, and see, this is their strategy of, like, I feel like more replacing the phone versus extending it. Our team continues to iterate on the experiences available through Orion today to build new immersive social experiences, and we can't wait to share what's next. Yeah, and so you actually have to wear this like wristband, and it like tracks electrical impulses in you, and it allows you to kind of use your hand as a remote, kind of like Apple Vision Pro like tracked your hand, but more so in like the space around you. This is using like tracking like your impulses in your hand for like muscle movement and stuff, and you could use your hand to scroll and shit. Beginning today, yeah, this is old or whatever. Yeah, here we go. And now that we've shared Orion with the world, we're focused on a few things: turning the AR display quality to make the visuals even sharper, optimizing wherever we can to make the form factor even smaller, building at scale to make them more affordable. In the next few years, you can expect to see new devices from us that build on our R&D efforts. Orion isn't just a window to the future, it's a look at the very real possibilities within reach today. From Ray-Ban Meta glasses to Orion, we've seen the good that can come from letting people stay more present and empowered in the physical world while tapping into the digital world has to offer. Okay, oh, okay, relax, guys. Like, you know, you're just can't wait to introduce another form of data collection. But I mean, in I guess like I'm just not to say that I'm just like spewing out like propaganda, but think of the Oculus headsets. The first thing they did was they made it so you can't use the headset without logging into a Meta account. Like, that to me shows that they just don't actually care and that they just want you to use their products to collect data or at least track you in some way. Like, I mean, like, that's just kind of, it's just like, come on. And I also feel like all these tech companies now are kind of chasing after to be the platform that, or to create the platform that Apple has today. They're kind of walled garden in a way. That's what everyone's after, I feel like. And you kind of need to create your own device like this to be able to, you know, kind of do things like that. You know, and like realistically, no one's going to take over Apple or even Google, or even Samsung. Like, you know, in the smartphone market, like the smartphone market is pretty locked up, especially Apple and at least Apple and Google, like especially Apple, at least Apple, like their, you know, their market share is there to stay likely, like, and so you can't just make another phone and then just start chipping away at Apple's market share. Like realistically, like it would, the amount of money for R&D and marketing and whatever to catch up or replace Apple would just not be worth it likely for a business to do so if you want to make money. So the other option is to essentially create a completely new platform for a completely new device that replaces the thing that, you know, they already have. And, you know, especially if you're selling it as a phone replacement, like Apple's spooked. I'm sure they got the, you know, they got a stick poked them in the butt a bit, you know, like fire got lit, butthole puckered, you know. They want in on this because if this replaces iPhones, well, shit, that's, you know, Apple's largest source of income. That's where they're, you know, they have like their platform that they make all their money from. Like they can't have that be taken away from them, and so they essentially are going to have to compete if someone else is claiming that they could replace an iPhone, if they want to keep that market share, or at least keep numbers go up, you know, keep the line go up. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what developments we'll have. Let's just look at yeah, this is the, yeah, so this is the wristband here. Oh, they do have a wireless compute puck. So yeah, this is truly smartphone replacement. I mean, they have a compute puck. Like, that's, you keep that in your pocket, which is essentially a smartphone. Yeah, and that's, yeah, that is what Apple is scared of. Yeah. Okay, let's look at let's just look at if there's any more. Look at Mashable. I used to frequent Mashable like 10 years ago. Apple's Atlas, what is it and what does it mean for the Vision Pro? Just a few days ago, we heard rumors that Apple is cautiously looking into launching its own version of smart glasses sometime in the distant future. Now, it appears the company is getting a bit more serious about the product. According to Bloomberg, Apple has launched a new initiative codenamed Atlas with the aim to see where the competition as well as Apple's own employees stand on the topic of smart glasses. It's unclear whether the company has started building a product yet. For now, the Atlas initiative reportedly consists of gathering feedback from Apple employees with additional focus groups planned for the future. The actual product could be years away. This is fairly typical of Apple, which often tests. Yeah, we kind of already covered this. It's probable that Apple will be taking a good long look at Orion. Yeah, but they can't get their hands on one. Meta's recently unveiled glasses which look almost like regular glasses while also while allowing the wearer to see and interact with virtual objects overlaid on the real world. Snap also recently introduced a new version of its augmented reality glasses spectacle, but don't expect to see either model on the market for at least a few more years. Apple, of course, is not without experience when it comes to mixed reality. Oh, MR's mixed reality. Its own Vision Pro has been lauded as the best you can buy, though the high price and lack of truly compelling use cases has kept the user base small. Rumors swirl about the follow-up to Vision Pro. Right now, it appears that we'll get an upgraded version next year, while rumored cheaper variants has the internal lid. Yeah, what we kind of just covered. So yeah, I guess that's kind of a bit of an overview of the glasses and AR market. I'm curious to see what Apple does and what other companies, or if other companies start to jump on this bandwagon, i.e. Google, Microsoft rebooting HoloLens. But I don't know, actually. I mean, thinking about like Google, like I just don't have confidence that they'll actually like stick with the product long enough to make it iterate and make it like actually good. I just don't have confidence. Google, Microsoft, I could see, but the fact that they shut down the HoloLens isn't that like good. But I don't know. The VR space is interesting, and it's interesting that Meta is the because they bought, you know, Oculus, or since bought Oculus, like as the #1 kind of like developer. Yeah, I mean, there's Valve, but they just haven't shared much. And I'm sure. Actually, okay, wait. I think that there has been rumors about Valve working on an AR headset. Because there's a Valve Index, that's what Valve's is. Wait, what? Okay. Huge Deckard copiums arrived before Proton, the translation layer Valve uses to allow Windows games on SteamOS, is now confirmed to have an ARM version. ARM being a kind of independent CPU licensing company. Many VR games are being tested with this new ARM Proton. Yeah, I don't know. But Valve's definitely cooking up something, and I wouldn't be surprised if if their headset is actually more AR focused versus VR, or they release a VR one and then they release an AR one. Because I swear I read something about that they're like maybe working on an AR headset. There's like some leak. Interesting. Look at this market. Declined 8.3% in 2023, but remains on track to rebound 2024. I don't know. Did it rebound? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's all I have on the kind of the state of AR glasses right now. Here, okay, we'll go. I have a few quickies, and then that's kind of all I planned today because I just want to be a degenerate and follow the election. So let's look at this because I thought it was interesting. Where's the title? Oh, here we go. A vertical farming startup stopped its operations. And I think that's interesting because, I don't know, vertical farming seems cool and seems like I don't know, potential supplementary addition to the market or replacing farming eventually. I feel like the efficiencies I remember is like, if we could get essentially free power, or we figure out our power situation, then maybe. But yeah, anyways, agtech unicorn Bowery Farming is shutting down, according to PitchBook, which cited internal documents and multiple company employees. The New York-based ag tech company was known for building vertical farms that could produce crops including lettuce, herbs, and berries. Per PitchBook, Bowery Farms has raised more than $700 million in funding from First Round Capital, General Catalyst, and GB, among many other venture firms. In its most recent round in 2021 valued it at more than $2 billion. That's crazy. They held multiple rounds of layoffs in 2023. Vertical farming has proved to be a tough category, with both Arrow Farms and AppHarvest filing for bankruptcy protection. Arrow Farms raised more than $300 million from backers before filing for bankruptcy. September 2023, it exited bankruptcy protection fully funded. Whoa. AppHarvest raised more than $700 million before taking public in 2021 at $1 billion valuation. It filed for Chapter 11 protection in 2023. That's crazy, actually, considering that two other startups, another one also who raised more than $700 million, shut down. Like, that's interesting. I wonder, like, what, like, they failed to do. Like, they not find, like, a market for it. Like, I think with farming, you know, it's kind of benefits from the economies of scale, and, you know, the larger the fields, the more efficient you could get in, like, in terms of, like, buying equipment and labor and stuff. So maybe, like, you know, it's like how, like, you know, like, I feel like there's weird technology that you'd actually have to develop to make this legitimate. Like, no way, like, you're gonna have a giant wall and you're gonna be picking all this by hand. Like, imagine a skyscraper sized vertical farm or something. Like, you have to innovate then on, like, robots to come and, like, pick it. You have to innovate on, like, the grow lights, you know, like, there's, like, weird things, I feel like, and maybe, like, a single startup doing everything. You know, because, I mean, think about what an entrepreneur is. They bring desperate technologies together to solve a problem. If you have to develop all those technologies, it's probably going to be a bit harder to focus on the business, because, you know, you kind of need to do everything yourself. I don't know. I wonder what happened. AppHarvest is a Kentucky-based indoor farming company that was backed by Martha Stewart when it began shipping tomatoes in early 2021. It's filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, I guess, like, also, like, if you're just selling fruits and vegetables, like, if that's the business, then you essentially need to be not treated like a startup and more like a traditional farm, because you have to get those relationships with the vendors and wholesalers and grocery stores and everything to sell your things to. I don't know. When was this? This is July 4th, 2023. This was just recently. This was yesterday. It's looking to restrict business. Oh, look, here we go. One of the many players in the fast-growing field of indoor farming began shipping beefsteak tomatoes to Kroger, Walmart, Publix, and other groceries in 2021. Interesting. Or maybe maybe we could do it. I'll prepare a deep dive on vertical farming, because that actually sounds interesting, and I don't know what's been going on in that. All right, then. I don't know what's going on with this one. This one popped up this morning, and I thought, I don't know. Tax fraud investigators search Netflix offices in Paris and Amsterdam, says source. Simultaneous raids by French and Dutch authorities probe falls 2022 tax settlement in Italy, and Netflix declined to comment. Bro, is this it? Do you have to pay for Reuters? I'm so confused. I always thought it was free. But I have this prepared, actually. Or maybe I don't. Oh yeah, I do. All right, I had other sources. Netflix's Paris and Amsterdam headquarters searched. French-Dutch authorities carried out searches today at Netflix's headquarters in Paris and Amsterdam. A French judicial source told Politico the raids were part of a preliminary investigation opened in November 2022 into charges of aggravated tax fraud, laundering, and concealed work in an organized gang. Oh, come on. I mean, like... Yeah, come on. The Paris search was carried out by the National Agency dealing with corruption and tax offenses. Bro, what an acronym. Jeez. Accompanied by members of the National Prosecutor's Office, as revealed by Marianne. It's like, yeah, Marianne. Okay, they're a French news outlet. And if that's French, I'm not saying that right. At the same time, Dutch magistrates searched Netflix's headquarters in Amsterdam in the presence of French magistrates and investigators, according to the same judicial source. The operations were coordinated through the European Union's Judicial Operation Unit, Eurojust. According to information published by La Lecture, in 2023, Netflix landed in French magistrates' crosshairs because of tax optimization practice, declaring its sales in France in the Netherlands. Bercy triggered a tax audit covering the period from 2018 to 2021. Bro, large corporations and taxes, just those two words just don't go together. Those three words just don't go together. Corporations and taxes. Like, they'll do anything to avoid paying taxes. It's insane. Tax optimization. Declaring its sales in France in the Netherlands. Like, the lawyer, he's like, yeah, I think that'll work. Like, no, you're good. It's like, I think that makes sense. Offices of streaming giant Netflix in Paris, Amsterdam have been raided by the French and Dutch authorities as part of investigation of tax fraud. Okay, yeah, officials from the two companies have been cooperating on the case since the investigation was opened in November 2022. Netflix has not yet made any specific comment on the raid, but it insists it complies with tax laws wherever it operates. The Amsterdam office is the headquarters of the company's operation in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. The French investigation is being carried out by National Finance Prosecutor Office. Well, is this a different acronym? Oh no. Paris searchers care about national agency dealing with corruption and tax offenses. National Finance. Yeah. Are they different? I don't know. That's interesting. A special unit for investigations into high-profile white-collar crime. It relates suspicions of covering up serious tax fraud and off-the-book works, according to PNF. The company is also under investigation for tax filings for 2018, 2020, and 2021. Okay. French sources said authorities in the Netherlands were conducting simultaneous searches and that cooperations between the two countries had been going on for many months. Yeah, Netflix in France minimized its tax payments by declaring its turnover generated in France to the Netherlands. Its turnover generated in France. After it abandoned its arrangement, La Lecture said it annually declared turnover in France jumped from 47 million euros, $51 million to 1.2 billion in 20. Wait. What? How does that work? However, the outlet said investigators are trying to determine whether Netflix continued to attempt to minimize its profits after 2021. Netflix arrived in France more than 10 years ago, opening its Paris office in 2020. It has some 10 million subscribers in the country, according to the AFP news agency. Dang. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Netflix there, but that's interesting. And like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, to be fair, like thinking about this more objectively, that if legitimately, I mean, like, realistically, do I think Netflix is committing tax fraud? I mean, no. But, you know, I think that them trying to avoid taxes is real, and that they actually did try and do that, and they did it, and it's the equivalent of tax fraud in these countries. I mean, it's still shitty that I mean, just like pay the taxes, like, come on, like, you know, the fees and everything that are going to come from this, like, no way it will be less than them committing tax fraud. And if it is, then the regulators need to change it to be, you know, to dissuade corporations from doing this. So they need to charge more, you know, fees than it would be cost them for the market. So I don't know. Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. One second. Here we go. Oh, dang it, I forgot to change the topic again. I always forget. Got hooked up with an energy drink. Rise and Fuel. Rise Fuel. Tastes really good. But this is like one of those like vitamin shop ones. Like they're just like way too expensive for their own good because they claim they have vitamins and minerals in it. Anyways. All right, we'll do this one last story and then call it there because I like following the semiconductor industry and I'm interested in our kind of bit of a chip war with China. And today's election day, and depending on the candidate, both of them want to restrict China's they want to restrict their supply chain and kind of squeeze them out, especially with our chips and for AI and everything. But definitely semiconductors, and this is kind of another entry to the saga of kind of the drama about things being leaked to China or us not wanting China to get like good equipment, which I'm not knowledgeable enough on this topic, but I don't know, maybe it was one of my test streams, but China has a large just before we get into some context, China has a large state-owned semiconductor company called SMIC, and kind of like I'll just explain it again because I don't remember when I said this. Maybe not even been on stream, but yeah. So China has a large state-owned semiconductor fab called SMIC. Now the thing with regulations, kind of what I was just explaining with like the tax fraud regulations, the same with sanctions like this, because like I feel like this is more like sanction level stuff that we're putting on China inadvertently. But they have to be greater. The pain has to be greater than what they could do internally. We have to restrict them more than what they can otherwise do internally. Now, us restricting China on all of this semiconductor stuff is great, but if they could just make it themselves in the country with all their state-owned corporations, then it's literally worthless. And it's just actually hurting more so like U.S. businesses, because now we can't even sell to them. Like, and I'm that's like a bit of a exaggeration or a stretch, but realistically, like if they're just gonna make it themselves internally, then like I don't know, like might as well just like get the business, So yeah, so essentially the chip tool makers now, not the chips themselves, but the companies who make the equipment who that you need to make semiconductors and chips, they have been kind of now restricted, and they need to follow like restrictions. So let's we'll get into this here, and then it's actually not that long, so all right, U.S. chip toolmakers move to cut China from supply chains. We have Applied Materials, Lam Research, kind of the two big companies in this. And they're both actually doing pretty well today. Oh, excuse me, one second. All right, U.S. semiconductor industry is uprooting Chinese companies from supply chains, spurred by directives from Washington seeking to suppress China's involvement in sensitive next-generation technology. Chip tool makers are telling suppliers that they need to find alternatives to certain components obtained from China or risk losing their vendor status. Companies relaying this message include Applied Materials and Lam Research, according to people familiar with the matter. The two Silicon Valley companies make equipment used in the production of microprocessors and are among the world's biggest manufacturers of these tools. Suppliers have also been told that they can't have Chinese investors or shareholders, the people said, which is interesting. That seems to be almost like too extreme, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Industry executives said such moves were likely to raise costs because it won't be easy to find non-Chinese alternatives at similar prices. And that's the key right here. Lam Research said it adheres to U.S. export controls for companies in the chip manufacturing supply chain. Applied Materials said it identifies alternative. Applied Materials said it identifies alternative sources for components to make sure they are available. And yeah, Applied Materials' biggest customer is China. So, like, that's interesting that, like, if now they can't sell to China. Washington is becoming increasingly strict on Chinese exports. The two main U.S. presidential candidates have pledged to get tougher on trade with China. And the U.S. semiconductor industry is seen as particularly critical because of its importance to national security. Can't have China making the AI overlord. The US has to make it, of course. The US, Japan, and Europe are spending tens of billions of dollars on support for chip manufacturing in a bid to gain more control over the process. Yes, and think of the CHIPS Act, which was passed in the United States, although there has been some drama on that because I guess funds coming out of that fund have been kind of slow. And I think companies like Intel, who is, large domestic chip manufacturing, Intel, fabs its own chips, they were banking on that. And I don't know if you've seen Intel stock price lately, but it's not doing too hot. So that's a bit of a, that's not good for, as a country, if we want to domesticize, bring this manufacturing, within the United States, chip manufacturing. That's, we kind of want that to be rolling because it's going to take years for us to build these fabs, get up to speed, hire people, train people, and I think that's actually training people is probably the biggest challenge because we need to, when you're a large corporation, you actually have to think about things like this. You need to kind of have, new college students, new people developing skills in a pipeline that, when the people that are currently there now retire, you need to be able to replace them, but you kind of need to do it in like an overlap period. So the people who are there could, train the old people. This is essentially how TSMC runs their plant in Taiwan. It's more of like a journeyman, apprentice, master style training. And, people are essentially skilled in like a single thing. And they kind of just like the old dog there train the people below them as like journeyman and apprentice. And then they take over and it kind of repeats that cycle. And they have, relationships with local universities, etc., to kind of make sure that pipeline is going. Now I've heard that it's actually getting a bit harder now because that way of training is a bit older, but besides the point, we kind of have to think about that now domestically in the United States, now that we want to bring all of, we want to bring it all within like our borders. Like we seriously need to consider, electrical engineering programs in colleges that are creating potential employees for these chip manufacturers, because if we all of a sudden have this spike in jobs available for people like that, electrical engineering, chip manufacturing, that kind of those kind of jobs, then we kind of, and if we can't fill it, then it doesn't even matter if we have all this fab domestically. If we can't fill the jobs or people don't have the skills and knowledge to be able to actually work and do it. And another thought on that, TSMC is building a big plant in Arizona, I believe, and already the pay that they've posted for these jobs are significantly under market here in the United States. But in places like Taiwan, that might be okay. But like here, it's like you realistically have to pay much more because the talent and skills that are needed are pretty specialized. And in defense of those people, like they have a legitimately valuable skill that they should be, properly compensated for. You kind of put lower salaries, you might get like subpar talent, like no offense to those people, but you kind of get what you pay for in that sense. And so that's not a good like start either. So yeah, anyways, let's continue. In recent years, US lawmakers have blocked China from acquiring the most advanced chips and chip making equipment. That equipment is generally made or designed in the US in regions friendly to the US, including Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, and Western Europe. Yeah, Taiwan being TSMC. There's actually several chip manufacturers in Taiwan, but TSMC is just largest. South Korea has Samsung. They have SK Hynix. Both are big in like memory. Samsung, I think, is the largest memory producer in the world. Japan, I mean, Japan has plenty. I can't even just think of any Japanese tech company. I'm sure they're making chips like LG. I think they might make chips too. They're South Korean. Western Europe, I'm not quite sure. Nokia, maybe. Yeah. Anyways. The steps by Applied Materials and others involve trade in the opposite direction. When Chinese parts or tools are acquired by semiconductor equipment makers based in the US or US-friendly regions, US officials fear that if companies rely on Chinese suppliers for parts, it could hand Beijing a card to play against the US in a crisis. The Commerce Department last year issued rules requiring American toolmakers to obtain licenses before sharing technical details and plans with Chinese suppliers. They were given a temporary license to keep such current suppliers, that expires at the end of 2025. This summer, the department made explicit that suppliers outside of China were also subject to these controls if their parent company was based in China. Read that again. This summer, the department made explicit that suppliers outside of China that were also subject to these controls if their parent company was also based in China. Okay. Plainview, New York-based Veeco, which makes processing systems for the semiconductor industry, issued a written directive to vendors telling them to immediately halt the use of any new Chinese suppliers and wean themselves off existing ones by the end of 2025. According to a copy of the directive reviewed by the Wall Street Journal, Veeco didn't reply to requests for comment. Interesting. Applied Materials and Lam Research informed their vendors of their directives verbally and didn't include it in any official vendor guideline or agreements. People familiar with the matter said that's a little sus, because it seems like they don't want the business, shareholders knowing that like their potentially largest customers may not be getting what they, or they essentially can't serve their largest customers. That's interesting. They said it verbally. Finding alternatives to Chinese suppliers isn't always easy, and any overt move to sideline the country risks angering policymakers in one of the world's largest markets for semiconductor making equipment. China is the biggest customer for both Applied Materials and Lam Research globally. Yeah. Wow, it's not even close. In China, a reciprocal. Oh my gosh, in China, a reciprocal drive to push U.S. Whoa, okay, I feel like I'm not saying this right. Okay, I am. Okay. In China, a reciprocal drive to push the U.S. technology out of the country is underway. Oh, that's funny. The state-owned companies in finance, energy, and other sectors moving to replace foreign software and hardware in their systems. And that's fair, because we're doing the same thing to them. In like, I'm sure they think the same thing about us in a way, The rules have left some Chinese contractors in a bind. Shenyang Fortune Precision Equipment, a supplier to Applied Materials, opened a factory in Singapore this year, expecting it could serve foreign customers, including U.S. manufacturers, according to people familiar with the matter. It's also interesting, Singapore always seems to be the middle ground between Chinese stuff and American stuff, or China and America. Like a TikTok, parent company ByteDance uses Singapore to store U.S. customers' data because it gets around even though they've actually been sharing it gets around the storing U.S. citizens' data in China. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Singapore is that kind of place. Just before, I feel like it might have been Hong Kong, but now that Hong Kong is China. Like, you know, it's, yeah. Fortune set up the plant close to Applied Materials' office in Singapore. Now, because of its Chinese backing, the factory has yet to receive authorization to supply materials, people said. Danny Lowe, a business development director at the Singapore plant, declined to comment on their relationship with Applied Materials, but said the factory's reach extends beyond U.S. toolmakers to equipment manufacturer customers around the world. Other Chinese suppliers are exploring workarounds such as setting up joint ventures or holding companies in third countries. That's crazy. One executive at a Chinese firm making components for the semiconductor industry said his company set up a holding company in Singapore that was in turn looking to add a joint venture with a Malaysian company to manufacture precision components in Malaysia. The goal is to keep supplying U.S. companies. That's crazy. And I mean, like, this is the point. My point, like, if it's the if it's the same companies just jumping around to, like, essentially, like, work the loopholes to get the things sold to us still, like, what's even the point? Like, I feel like at this point you're just making business harder for, like, people kind of in the market here. Like, if realistically they're actually just going to end up being sold to the companies still, or we're going to sell it to them to us, whatever. Like, I mean, like, maybe it's enough friction that only limited ones will work towards that. Yeah, politics. I mean, yeah, no, exactly. You know, like, but realistically, the ones. Okay, let's think about this. Maybe this is a strategy to weed out companies who don't want to actually do business, and, you know, try and get, like, the ones who actually really want to do to continue. And that is a way to show which ones may have vulnerabilities or might be, you know, spying on us. That, you know, that a little conspiratorial, but, you know, and so realistically, the ones who actually go through all of the, you know, loops and holes and whatever are the ones, you know, that are pushing to, you know, collect data on us. I don't know, but, you know, it's like, I just don't. I'm kind of struggling to see the point if you could just jump around these loopholes to kind of do the same thing. Yeah. And, like, I'm all for domesticating chips. I legit think that we should, and that, you know, we have a fragile ecosystem right now with Taiwan being the largest, you know, with Taiwan holding TSMC. Like, that is a legit, like, issue, because if China takes Taiwan, like, that, we have bigger problems to figure out, or, like, a world war. Like that meme I posted. Oh, did my camera freeze? Oh, shoot. Hang on. No. Dang it, it froze before I started. I don't know what happened. I was messing with it before stream. That's probably why. Oh no, you're good. Anyways, whatever. Turn my camera off for now. I mean, this actually, I mean, I don't have much to cover, but yeah, it's like that World War 3 meme I was covering, like invading Taiwan. So yeah, I think that, like, that is a legit issue. But I realistically, if we're gonna bring chip manufacturing to domestic, like, within our borders, like, I don't want it to be half-assed. Like, I want us to be fully funded. I want the government to be in on it, and I want them to be supportive and, like, actually, like, take on a leadership role, the government, and, like, making sure that, you know, the companies are like, I don't know, they're actually doing things right, and that they're creating, like, an ecosystem around them. Yeah, I guess, like some sort of military industrial complex, but for chips in a way, you know, like, I just want the government to support them more so we could bring it domestically quicker, because realistically, we're not doing it fast enough. The CHIPS Act is great, but it's just not going to be fast enough for, like, what we're actually trying to accomplish. And we just need bigger government support. I don't want the same, you know, I'm saying that it's a military industrial complex was, like, not it wasn't the best example, but I just want stronger government support for chips because I want us to bring it like within our borders, because I think that would create great high quality jobs, because it's a, you know, it's a very high tech industry that will be for, you know, here for years to come, versus, I don't know, our military industrial complex. But this is kind of, there's been a lot of drama around this, and I'm interested. This is like the kind of the Cold War, like our modern day Cold War, is these kind of sanctions like this that, you know, we're kind of cutting each other off of certain high tech things that we see as national security threats. We as in like the government, you know, United States, China's, and the Chinese government. So yeah, it's interesting times. But that's all I have planned for today. Oh, still frozen. Go vote. Even if you don't care about presidential elections, there's a lot of state propositions and local things that will affect you much more. And if you already have your mail-in ballot, just send it in, drop it off. But yeah, I'll be back. So tomorrow's stream will probably be closer to 9 or 10 because I'm gonna be staying up late to watch the election, and I value my 8 hours of sleep. So expect to stream tomorrow around closer to probably closer to 10, 9:30, 10. But I'll update the title and say that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you showing up.